Hello and welcome to Tech This Week. The big news this week was IT services company Wipro's most expensive buy to date, London-based Capco, which it bought for $1.45 billion. This is the fourth acquisition by the company since CEO Thierry Delaporte took over in July 2020. Joining us later today is Sanjeev Kota, Head of Research at Sharekhan by BNP Paribas, for a perspective on how the acquisition will move the needle for Wipro's BFSI vertical. But first, here are the top headlines from the week. American cloud computing and virtualization software and services provider VMware continues to be in a limbo as it awaits its spin-off from parent company Dell. The company reported its annual results for the financial year 2020-21 last week with a 9% annual increase in revenue at $11.8 billion. It continues to battle top tech churn and is yet to announce a replacement for CEO Pat Gelsinger, who moved to Intel in January. This week also put an end to the 2-decade-long litigation involving big tech firms selling in India. The Supreme Court on Tuesday ruled that multinational companies can operate reseller models in India, and Indian users or distributors of software provided by firms such as SAP, Microsoft, and IBM will not be required to withhold tax for usage. However, if the current finance bill gets passed in its current format, non-resident recipients of such software payments may have to remit 2% of the gross transaction value as equalization levy. In the venture capital space, Oyo founder Ritesh Agarwal's family office, Aroa Ventures, has committed rupees 100 crore to investment management firm ScaleX Ventures to be deployed in early stage startup investments by mid of this year. ScaleX has identified 10 startups which will mop up close to rupees 50 crore in investments. Going ahead, the investment firm plans on starting its own venture fund. As part of its investment, Aroa has invested $1 million in global stock trading firm Stockall, based in Bangalore. There was also the launch of the India office of crypto investment fund FD7 Ventures. The Dubai-based fund has also announced a $250 million micro fund for investments in altcoin projects such as Polkadot and Cardano, including secondary investments depending on the growth metrics of the company. The fund claims to have $1 billion in Bitcoin under management. More news from Oyo, as the budget hospitality brand conducted an outsourcing exercise of 150 employees in the finance shared services function to research and consultancy firm KPMG. An Oyo spokesperson said that the move was voluntary as employees were offered job continuity with KPMG without loss of pay. Oyo is under an existing multi-year service engagement with KPMG for end-to-end delivery of finance shared services. Moving on, the momentum in the e-pharmacy space continues as PharmEasy received a check of over $49 million from TPG Growth according to regulatory filings. The PE firm is expected to pump in $125 million as part of PharmEasy's $300 million fundraise, which will value the company at $1.2 billion. We have previously reported that the balance is expected to come from Naspers backed Prosus Ventures during the round. In other startup news, Ratan Tata is set to exit his investment in SoftBank-backed eyewear maker Lenskart through a secondary share sale. On the other hand, Reliance Industries now holds a significant majority stake in US-based personal rapid transport company Skytran, and the shareholding has gone up to 54.46%, according to filings made by Reliance. Reliance had first invested in Skytran in 2018. The NASA Space Act company has patented high-speed elevated personal rapid transport system. While those were the top headlines from the week, moving on to the big story, Wipro's acquisition of London-headquartered Capco. The firm provides digital consulting and technology services to financial institutions spread across the Americas, Europe, and APAC. The company, with over $700 million in revenues, is an important addition to Wipro's BFSI practice. The BFSI practice is Wipro's largest sector globally. Here is what Rishad Premji, chairman of Wipro, had to say about the acquisition during a conference call yesterday. Today, we are thrilled to share the announcement of another transformational acquisition, the largest in our history of Wipro. We will be acquiring Capco, which is a leading consulting, digital and technology transformation partner in the banking and financial services space for a value of $1.45 billion. Capco will bring to us over $700 million in revenue and over 5,000 consulting and domain specialists based across the globe. Banking and financial services industry is our largest sector globally and a high priority and growth segment for us. Capco will bring Wipro significant scale in our BFSI business, a highly complementary set of service offerings, creating a unique combination of consulting and domain-led expertise with scale, digital technology, and operational depth. This, we believe, will drive accelerated growth. It will also expand our presence into a set of large strategic customers that are uniquely complementary to our existing customer base. The acquisition brings on board key customers to Wipro's practice, apart from 5,000 consultants from Capco who will strengthen the team. To take a closer look at the deal details, my colleague Supriya Roy spoke to Sanjeev Hota of Sharekhan by BNP Paribas.
Hi Sanjeev, thank you for joining us this week. How's it going?
It's good. Thank you.
Nice. Now to get straight down to business, Sanjeev, Capco is the largest ever stride in Wipro's M&A strategy in value terms. At large, what does the industry really anticipate of the deal's performance in the long run? I see that Dalal Street is not very happy given the stock prices going about 4% down this morning.
Yeah, but there are two sides of coin. Firstly, on the positive side, definitely it shows the new CEO theory aggression on bringing back growth to Wipro by doing inorganic growth. And this acquisition also will add up to the Wipro BFSI capacity and also the consulting expertise they are going to get. And more than that, if you see, there will be no client overlap that is going to happen. And Capco has got 30 marquee client, and that will also going to add to the Wipro client list. And that I see as a positive for Wipro, definitely. But on the flip side, we have seen in the past that the consulting part of the business is not done well for the Indian IT incumbent. And that is what the market is worrying about, whether this acquisition is going to be a successful one for Wipro or not. And that need to be seen, because clearly in the initial year, management has also stated that this is going to be a margin dilutive deal and not a EPS accretive one. So it needs to be seen how they are going to bring synergies into this acquisition and how it's going to fare well in the coming years. So I would say that let's wait and watch for this thing. But overall, I think management aggression is seen in by doing this big bold deal in the consulting space. But we need to give some time to Wipro and how they fare in this acquisition.
Great points, Sanjeev, as always. It was a pleasure talking to you, and thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and time with us.
Thanks, Supriya.
Thank you for the insights, Supriya and Sanjeev. The Wipro stocks slipped 2% at the market opening soon after the announcement. Wonder what drives the markets. Moving on to our next segment. As vulnerable groups queue up to take the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccines in India, there has been some confusion and mismatches on the portal for registration. My colleague Shubham Sharma, who has been trying to register his family for the first round of vaccinations, decided to review the government's COVID portal. He's here to tell us about the possible glitches and what to avoid when registering yourself or your family members. Welcome to Tech This Week, Shubham.
Thank you for having me, Payal.
So the first question. The other day when we were discussing this, you said that there's no COVID app. So all registrations have to be made through the browser. And also, can you tell me who is behind the app which exists on the Play Store, which I got confused with?
So yes, there is no COVID app for beneficiaries. The app on the Play Store is from Health Ministry's National Health Portal, and it is only for administrators. This has created a lot of confusion among people. And as of now, the only way one can book a vaccination appointment is through the dedicated website, covin.gov.in, or the Arogya Setu app.
And how was your experience of registering on the browser, or did you register through Arogya Setu? And also, were there particular glitches which you noticed or you came across?
Well, using CoWIN right away to book a vaccination appointment proved a little challenging for me because the platform threw a few errors while registering, which prevented the login. The issue was resolved by the end of the day one, but then I noted that the hospitals listed for my city did not have any slots for the first few weeks. It said no appointments available for the given period, without clarifying whether all those slots have been booked or are yet to open. People in other cities also reported similar issues on Twitter. So,
Yes,
yeah.
I remember reading those comments. Are there improvements or iterations which you've seen over the week of monitoring the portal, Shubham? And also, the health ministry was asking for feedback on the app or the portal. So, do you have any comments on that?
Well, setting up a digital vaccination portal for a population of 1.3 billion is never going to be easy. Glitches are expected to occur on a scale like that. However, as we go ahead, things should start falling into place. For instance, I was able to book my appointment on day 3 for the same paid hospital that did not show a slot a day earlier. Other than that, I think a little more clarification around booked and yet to be booked slots would be great. And when sufficient supply is available, they should also give the public an option to choose which vaccine they want to go with.
Right.
Right now, there is no option like that.
Yeah, I have heard that from people who've been vaccinated, that they get to know only once they get into the hospital. So, yeah. Thank you, Shubham, for joining us. And
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Yes. That was a wrap on Tech This Week. Thank you for watching and stay safe.